Hey YouTube, it's your girl Wish, and I'm back with another video. And today I am going to be talking about my first trimester of my twin pregnancy. So stay tuned. It's gonna be kind of long, but I'm gonna try to go over everything. Again, this video is about my first trimester of my twin pregnancy, which are weeks 0 to week 13. So I'm going to talk about everything that I've experienced and just kind of go over a few things that I don't think people talk about or mention as much. So I'm going to start with just the very beginning with finding out that I'm pregnant. So to begin with, this is my third pregnancy carrying. I did have one miscarriage in my past. So I'm one of those people that's very in tune with their body. So when my cycle is a day late, I already know something's up because it's so regular. So starting off with finding out that I was pregnant, I want to say that on this particular night, me and my hubby, we, of course, were not being very responsible. And I did take a plan B. I took a plan B hours, literally hours, because it was late at night. Literally hours after, like maybe 4 or 5 hours after, I rushed to CVS and took a plan B because I do have two other children. I have a 6-year-old and we have a 1-year-old daughter. So, another kid was definitely in our future, but not this soon. And I also finally went ahead and started birth control because I'm like, we're having way too many slip ups. Like, let me just go ahead and take this plan B. And then right after, I'm just going to go ahead and start birth control. So that way, we won't have any more slip ups. And I probably should have been taking birth control. But after I started having my children, I noticed a change in my body from taking birth control. So I kind of did not like it. So I started that. And I told myself, I'm like, well, my cycle fast forward to the time that my cycle is supposed to come on. I'm like, well, I know that I took a plan B and I started birth control. So, this could be a reason why it's late. But then again, I know my body, my period is never late, no matter what I do. So when your period is late, you're already a couple of weeks pregnant. So once it didn't come after like 2 weeks, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and take a test just to see what's up because, it's been like almost 2 weeks now and I still don't have it. Took a test and you're supposed to wait a couple of minutes for the line to show up, but that line showed up right away. Just like with my other pregnancies, like my hormone levels are always very, very high. So I found out I'm pregnant. I confirmed that I'm pregnant. And at that time, it's probably like maybe week 5 going into week 6. And I had some family in town. So we were kind of hanging out and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, this is my third pregnancy. I'm going to go ahead and make an appointment and just, kind of go from there. But I'm just going to enjoy my time with my family as well. I'm not going to be, stressed out about it or trying to figure out, what to do next because, I'm in a committed relationship. So it's not like, I'm scared or I'm nervous, still kind of scared, but, it is what it is. So within the next couple of weeks, I was trying to get a hold of the OB that I have been going to for my last 2 pregnancies, but I couldn't get a hold of her until about maybe 7 weeks going into 8 weeks. Well, I couldn't get a hold of the office she was at, and come to find out, she had been my OB for 10 plus years. She moved back to labor and delivery. And I'm like, you know what? This office is about an hour out of This office is about an hour and a half out from where I live now. So, I'm just going to try a different doctor this time. And my mom, she's a patient at Emory Hospital. So, I was like, I'm going to try Emory. I hear great things about Emory in Atlanta. Emory and Northside are like the top hospitals in Atlanta. So, I made an appointment at Emory Hospital. And of course, it was like a week or so out. So at this time, I'm about 9 weeks pregnant. So, at your first appointment, it's not really much. They make you, I believe, well, they make you pee, they make you urine, they check your urine, and then I believe I did do some blood work my first pregnancy just to confirm my hormone levels and just to confirm that I was pregnant, which I already knew I was. So I was, this was like around March or April, and they confirmed my due date to be December 17th. So I'm like, okay. So my due date is December 17th, and I was considered high risk because I had my son at 26 weeks. My very first baby, I had him when I was 26 weeks pregnant. So anytime you have any kind of complications during any pregnancy, most of the time your future pregnancies will be high risk. So they scheduled me off to a specialist because they want to do an ultrasound. They want to just, keep me under the monitor just to make sure that everything's going good. So this is where it gets a little crazy. This is where I find out that I'm actually having twins. I didn't find this out until I went to the specialist. So about a week later, we go to the specialist and we're doing the ultrasound, and I'm like on edge for whatever reason. Like this day, I'm just like, and I didn't really discuss it with my spouse because I'm like, it's not anything to be afraid of. But deep down, I'm like on edge. So we're inside the ultrasound room getting the ultrasound. And, the nurse is just like, how you feeling and stuff like that. Just asking me questions. And I'm like, I'm fine. And I'm like, could you just please confirm that it's one baby in there? And she's looking at me. She's like, yeah, okay. And I'm like, because I'm a twin and twins run a lot in my family. And just please confirm that it's just one baby in there. And as she's doing my ultrasound while I'm saying this. And she's like, I don't know. I think there's two. And next thing you know, I'm like screaming. I'm like, no, what? No. So I'm screaming. And then it's just like, it was just so many emotions at once. Like, it was just so many emotions at once. So, I'm like crying. I'm a little happy, but a little scared, a little nervous. And my spouse is just trying to console me. He's like, it's okay. It's okay. Listen, I've been here for you. I'm here for you. Like, we good. We good. And I'm like, no, I don't know. Like, it was just a lot of emotions for me that day. So we find out there's twins, and I get the little ultrasound picture, and I immediately text my mom and my sister. And I'm like, mind you, I have a twin sister. I'm like, there's two babies in there. My mom was like, Toya, I knew it. Toya is my real name. She's like, Toya, I knew it. I knew it deep down. My mom, like always, she's like one of those moms that knows everything before you even tell her. Like, she just has that intuition. Like, she just knows everything. So I was definitely shocked for a minute. Like, I was definitely shocked for a while. Like, to have twins, even though I'm a twin, like, everybody kept looking at me like, well, you're a twin. And I'm like, okay, like, but still, it normally, like, skips a generation. But, it is what it is. So, I also want to talk about, the morning sickness, or, just to I honestly had morning sickness with all of my pregnancies. Like, all of my pregnancies, I've had really, really bad morning sickness. So I honestly didn't think anything of it this go round because it's always been bad through all my pregnancies. So definitely had morning sickness. And I would say that the morning sickness probably started like around week 8 or 9, like right when I was going to the doctor. And it went all the way up into like, I'm in my second trimester now, but it went all the way up into like my second trimester, like I want to say like maybe it like bad, like consistent all day morning sickness, like it definitely went into my second trimester. I still do throw up from time to time, but it's not nearly as much. This time it may be like once or twice a week, but back around week 8 or 9, all the way to like the second trimester, like week like 17 or 18, it was daily. It was daily and it was all day. It was to the point where I like lost like 10 plus pounds of morning sickness. But the babies were okay. I believe that the morning sickness comes from like your body creating your placenta and just using everything it's got to just get this baby going. And honestly, what I've read and what I've heard is if you have a lot of morning sickness, or if you have morning sickness, it's sometimes a healthy sign. So I know that there are some other issues that go along with severe morning sickness. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just, regular morning sickness to where the doctors are still claiming that you're healthy. It's a good thing. Even though you're suffering and the baby's like sucking everything out of you, it's a good time. I also want to say that another symptom is the tiredness. But I was kind of tired throughout all of my pregnancies. So nothing was really different from this pregnancy until later on. So definitely just tired. The first trimester, just tired, just sleepy. But it was really, really hard to sleep when I have a 1-year-old. 6-year-old, I can kind of nap a little bit more because I can kind of like, put him in front of a TV or, put him on a video chat with my mom or, have my mom or my sister or his other cousins like kind of virtually babysit while I just kind of, get in like 20 or 30 minutes. But with the 1-year-old, it just was not happening. So as tired as I was, it was a lot. I had so bad of a morning sickness. I did not get a chance to like really film my body in my first trimester. And honestly, with me losing a bunch of weight because of the morning sickness, I really didn't start showing until like the middle of my second trimester. A lot of my family and friends kept asking me like, do you have a bump? Do you have a baby bump yet? Like, let us see. I did not have a baby bump until like almost my middle of my second trimester. So I'm going to try to upload one video or one picture in here where I sent my mom something like closer to, or like when I was starting my second trimester and finally was like, Mom, I finally have a bump now, which kind of came overnight. But yeah, so I'm gonna try to upload that at the very, very end. But yeah, this kind of just sums up the first trimester. If I did not cover anything for you guys, please let me know. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I know that I probably sound horrible. I have a cold, which having a cold while you're pregnant is the worst because it's not much that you could take. Excuse me, not much medication you can take. And I'm not a big medication person anyway. So, oh yeah, I'm sorry. Before I end this video, what kind of did help my morning sickness, which remember I went to the doctor around week 9 or 10, which was already going in or near the end of the first trimester, because your first trimester is like up until like week 13, I think. My doctor did recommend some over-the-counter medicine, but I didn't want to do that. Or she prescribed some medication that I didn't want to take. But she did kind of recommend a kind of natural vitamin, which is the B6 vitamin. So I do want you guys to try that. I did it, but again, it was like towards the end of my first trimester. So I think like my morning sickness was kind of being tamed at that point. So I can't really tell if it was like really stopping it or not. But even if it does not kind of stop your your morning sickness. It definitely has a lot of benefits, or one of the main benefits, which is like the brain health of the baby and you. So I would definitely try the B6. And yeah, so that's something that I wanted to throw in there. So thank you guys so much for watching. I tried to not let this video be too long, but long enough to kind of throw some key points in there. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, or if you found this video interesting, please consider subscribing to my channel. And I will be making more videos soon and dropping more videos soon. I wanted to do a lot more videos, but I just couldn't, because I just couldn't lift my head up off the pillow. But now I'm feeling a lot better. I plan to drop more videos and more informational videos to you guys. So thanks so much for watching.